Okay, everybody, this is Eric, and we're going to go over the Pittsburgh tournament, first tournament of the live period from this past weekend. There are 6 games, so we should probably get right to it, but we're going to take a little bit of time here. So just to give you a little bit of a preview, so we have this coming weekend at Spooky Nuke, which, by the way, I'm probably going to be at with you guys, and then probably a little bit of a break. So we're going to consider this kind of like these next 2 weekends, kind of like the end of part 1 of the season. And we're already developing a decent sample size to get a good statistical profile. So what we're going to do, again, as usual, we're going to go through each individual game. We're going to talk about the key stats. We're going to look at the shot charts, and we're going to look at some individual statistics. Then we're going to take a look at the season and see where we could improve in that regard. Now, again, as far as results go, yeah, you guys lost the first showcase game, and then you won the last 4 to win the quote-unquote championship. And again, I'm not as interested in results and wins as I am in the profile, because we're trying to develop kind of a statistical profile that will travel. You know, like if you win games with bad numbers, that's usually not going to translate to wins against better teams in future tournaments. So it's kind of why we do this. But overall, congratulations, good job. And let's just see if that last game, which you guys won in the championship, looked as good statistically as it appeared it looked visually. Because sometimes your eyes can deceive you, but we'll see about that. Okay, so first game against Global Squad. So again, what we're looking for here for you guys, an effective field goal percentage of 55% or higher. This is for the season and for each game. Turnover rate of 20% or lower, and an offensive rebounding percentage of 30% or higher. And in this game, I don't know what happened to you guys, but you had an effective field goal percentage of only 44%. And that's just obviously not going to get it done. I mean, not even remotely close. And that's why you guys lost. I mean, your other numbers were pretty good. So what we'd like to do then is just kind of break this down and see where this came from. Because if you were taking good shots and the right people were taking them and you just missed them, that's fine. That's just kind of a training issue. But if you're taking bad shots or the wrong people are taking good shots, then it's a problem. So we're going to take a look at this. Let's look at the shot chart. And this is actually the first time I am looking at it. For Global Squad, you guys lost 68-61. So actually, your shot chart actually wasn't bad. You know, you only had 2 bad 2s. So this is great. I mean, you guys are apparently listening. We'd like to get more than, less than 10% of your shots coming from this bad 2 range. And you succeeded in that. So I really don't have much of an issue with your shot selection. You know, you try to finish a lot of shots at the rim. It just so happened that from 3, you guys just couldn't make it. I mean, you guys from 3 were what? 2 of 9, 2 of 12, 3 of 17, 5 of 22. You know what I mean? Like if you ran remotely normal at 3-point range, you know, you guys would have won. So I'm not worried about this. With one caveat, let's just make sure that the right people were taking the 3s. And then we could check this off as just being kind of a game to chalk up to just variance. So let's look at, again, Global Squad, box score. We'll take a look at where these 3s kind of came from. And all right, well, Roddy, sometimes it's just going to be like this. You know, 3 of 11. We want you taking 11 3s, at least, maybe even more. So this is, you know, this is just an outlier performance. You know, listen, you have a 40x% 3-point shooting range over a decent sample size, and this is just an outlier. I mean, you usually would get 4 or 5, and in which case that almost gets you there. And Leo, 1 for 6, still struggling, man, from 3, I have to say. But even if you ran a little bit normal and you went at 1 more, that would have been good enough, you know. So overall, I'm just not as displeased with the results as maybe other people might be, because you took shots from the right areas, sort of the right people were taking them. You know, maybe, listen, you didn't have Antony there, whatever. Maybe you could have had a couple of more from either Josh, Brandon, or whatever. I don't know what's going on with you, Jaden. We'll work on this, I guess. And the rest of you guys kind of finished at the rim. You know, Josh finished at the rim. Chike, kind of a weak game. That's interesting. You played almost the whole game and yet only got 6 attempts at the rim. So that's not normal. You know, you probably usually get more shots at the rim, I would imagine. So in any case, well, I'm looking at 2 fouls, 5 fouls on each of these guys, which is obviously not ideal either. So I don't know. I'm kind of write this one off because you took the right shots. Mostly the right people were taking them. You just happen to have not made them, and that's fine. Okay, moving on. Next game was now we have a bunch of a bunch of wins in a row. Let's see what they look like. So first game against next game is Rising Stars. You guys won by a lot. Let's take a look at the statistical profile here. And effective field goal percentage, not great. 50% effective field goal percentage. I mean, not bad, but not great. Turnover rate, 15%. Offensive rebound percentage, 36%, which is good enough. But what you look at is opponents, you held them to 27% effective field goal percentage. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more because these analytics apply to both offense and defense. Now, I don't want to stray too long because we have a lot of games to get through. But remember, the key to scoring points in basketball is taking good shots, right? And having good people taking them. It's just as easy as that, and taking a lot of them. And defensively, you want to force these guys into taking those bad shots. In the same way that you want to take good shots to give yourself a good effective field goal percentage, you want to force the opponent into taking bad shots. So when you force the opponent into 27% effective field goal percentage, then you can afford to kind of be a little weaker offensively. And this team is actually pretty freaking good defensively this year. So yeah, so that's why you guys ended up winning. From a offensive perspective, you guys were about average, but defensively, you're really, really strong, holding them to those types of terrible shots. Let's take a look at our shot chart, though. Shot chart from Rising Stars. Excellent. Look at this. 1, 4, only 5 bad twos, about under 10%. And this is excellent. And this is what leads to decent, decent rates. From 3, you weren't great, but you weren't terrible. So this is the perfectly efficient performance. Will this performance win tougher games? No, but it's certainly good enough to win most. So I'll give this effort kind of a B+. Let's take a look and see how the individuals broke down in this game. Rising Stars. So there you go. The Roddy, 6 for 7 from 3. Let's go. I mean, can I tell you? Leo, 1 for 4. Far probably shouldn't be taking them at all. 0 for 3. Jaden, back in the gym, can I say? 0 for 5 from 3. Brandon, 0 for 2 from 3. We talked about this last week. I'm sure you're working on it. But overall, listen, you got you got Roddy taking the most threes, which is what you're supposed to be doing. Leo's still struggling, but Roddy was good enough to hold up everybody else's end of the bargain, and you guys got a nice, comfortable win. Next game against Shore Shots. Another pretty handy performance here. And thankfully, defensively, you guys were really good because offensively, you were miserable. So 41% effective field goal percentage. Now, I'm gonna yell at you about this because this is not going to travel against the tough teams. It just isn't. Turnover rate's good, minus only 9%. Offensive rebound percentage is still going to be strong. Listen, when you have Chike and Josh both there, this is always going to be good, I would imagine. But let's see what went on here with your shots. Against Shore Shots, we had. I mean, don't have an issue really. I'm only 2 bad twos, so your shot selection is good, but you just didn't make anything this time. Now again, I'm looking at this finish inside the lane thing at 5 for 12 from the left side. I've talked about this in several videos. You guys, maybe all teams are like this, but you guys especially are very, very poor from the left side. That could be addressed by training or by scheme, but it's something that's noticeable. So let's take a look and see again where these shots came from. I'm going to hope and imagine that it was one of those days that Roddy just didn't make his threes. But let's just take a look. Let's look at Shore Shots. Box score. No, Roddy was fine, 4 for 11, but everybody else, oh my, Favre 0 for 5 from 3, Leo 0 for 3, Josh 0 for 2, Brandon, all right, 2 for 3, very nice. Jaden, no. So I don't really necessarily have a problem with this. I mean, listen, Roddy 4 for 11 is perfectly fine. Favre shouldn't be taking threes. I'm sorry. And Leo, I have to say that you better start making some. Jaden too. Otherwise, I'm gonna take the ability to take threes away from you. I mean, I can't do that. Chike 0 for 4 from the field. Don't know exactly what this is all about. Maybe they just didn't need you for the whatever. So I'm gonna say the only reason you guys won is the other team was terrible. And you look at sure shots, effective field goal percentage be 27% and a 21% turnover rate. So like if you defensively can make this happen, then yes, you could do other stuff offensively. But overall, offensively, this game was kind of weak. Okay, moving on, we have so we now have 1, 2, 3 games in a row, which rated to be somewhat competitive. And let's see you guys handled it. So all in Beast, low scoring game. And boy, what a freaking train wreck and an ugly game this was. So this is what I was mentioning this to Chris. I was texting through this. I'm like, ugly, ugly, ugly. And it was. How on earth you guys win a game with 33% effective field goal percentage is beyond me. The only way that happened, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. You guys are 48.9%, which is not good, but look at what happened to All In Beasts. They were 33% effective field goal percentage. I mean, you guys are putting such a premium. I don't know if I'm doing it on purpose, but defensively, you guys are putting these teams in positions where they're taking bad shots. And then you let them put up a 33% effective field goal percentage. You don't have to do that well. And you didn't. I mean, 48% effective field goal percentage in your average game is not going to be enough to beat a team like this. But again, and you guys turned the ball over. You had a 20% turnover rate, and your offensive rebound percentage was terrible. But the thing is that, again, the other team just really you just shut them down. Let's take a look at the shot chart, though. Let's take a look and see where your, I guess, inefficiency came from. Okay, so here we have now 2, 3, call it even 6. You got a whole bunch of bad 2s here. So this is why your effective field goal percentage could have suffered in this game. Let's take a look at the box score. Look at the individuals here. See if anybody's improving. Roddy, 2 for 6 from 3. You should be taking more threes, by the way. Jaden, another Ofer. Leo, Ofer. Favre, Ofer. Thankfully, again, you guys shut them down defensively, and you made up for a kind of a weak offensive performance. Not weak. I mean, 48% is not the end of the world, but let's just say, thank God we got the 4 blocks, and we really got, did a good job defensively. Okay, now Middlesex Magic. This is a team that you guys have struggled with, and in the last game, you guys, we went over this last week. I said that you guys played well enough to win, and if you could keep the turnovers down, you could beat this team. And I also mentioned that not to use it as an excuse, but we had Chike out from this last game, and if you put together a no turnover rate game or a less turnover game, with Chike being back, there's no reason why you guys shouldn't win this game. And thank you very much. Okay, you guys won. 51% effective field goal percentage, not the best, but certainly good enough. Turnover rate really low. You know what I mean? Your last game against Middlesex Magic from Boston, you had a 23% turnover rate, and this is the end of the story. And 12% turnover rate, you fixed exactly what needed to be fixed without even knowing it. And away we go. Just to kind of keep this in perspective, like the opponent's effective field goal percentage was 57%. They're more efficient than you, but look at this. They had a 26% turnover rate. And this is the bottom line. You know what I mean? Like, not the bottom line, but you think about it. You know why turnover rate is so important? Because when you turn it over, you don't get to shoot. Right. So even though they might have had a better effective field goal percentage than you, you got to take more shots than them. And that kind of made up for it. So very, very nice job. Let's take a look at the shot chart. Again, I would prefer the 55% because I know that's going to travel a little bit better. Let's take a look. 1, 2, 3. I just want to just show you. Okay. I mean, I just want to show you. I told you you only got about 51% effective field goal percentage. So just look at this visually. I don't know what else to say. I mean, like, how many examples of this are we going to show before you guys get rid of these? You know, you were able to get it done anyway, you know, but imagine if you could clean this up. I mean, you would literally be unbeatable. Okay, nobody's unbeatable. But again, my goal for you guys is to win every game in the tournaments this year. It is. You're not going to be playing anybody that great, I promise you. No one's playing in the NBA, like right away at least. No one's playing the NBA that you're going to be playing against. And you clean this stuff up and you keep playing well defensively, you're gonna win every game. That's my opinion, I tell you. Box score versus Middlesex Magic. All right. What do we got? Roddy, 4 for 8. Jaden. Josh took a 3. You don't have to do that. Favre didn't have to take a 3. Leo, you'll make one day. Good game, Chike. You know what I mean? This is what I want. You know, getting to the rim, getting to the line, 2 steals, no blocks this game. Brandon, you actually were kind of poor from 2. So what you could do, by the way, again, is you can click through this and see like all your misses. And again, you see the split legs over there we talked about last time. I don't want, you know, I only know because your dad watches these 2 things too. I just wanted to show you. Oh, that's bad because you're contested. I know you can take this. That's a very, very difficult shot. See this one? See. I mean, use the backboard for that one. Not the end of the world. So when you made 3, I'll show you the makes too. Wide open from the corner. You know what I mean? It's no accident those go. See Brandon. Yeah, that's terrible. And then this one, right again. That's I promise you that's no good. I know you like that shot. I promise you long term that's no good. And I remember the sequence. What have you see these guys are all these apart? Like if I pull this back, it's gonna be you missed this bad too. 41-46. As a matter of fact, let's just do this for fun. Because I remember this. 41-46. This was the sequence that tilted me a little bit. So let's go. It was 41 minutes. Is that what it was? Let's just see something. 41-46. All right, so let's look at the sequence. This is like so tilting, right? So first, from an analytical perspective, check this out. So you guys come down. All right, bad 2. Basketball gods cooperate, you miss. Then the other team comes down. And gets a wide open 3 from the corner. Right? So we have bad 2, followed by wide open 3 from the corner. And if you thought I was making this up, very next possession, bad 2. So bad 2, wide open 3 from the corner, bad 2. From an analytical perspective, that drives me to the lunatic asylum. Nonetheless, good win. Spring you to the championship game. So I watched this live. And you guys know I'm hard on you, right? In general. I watched this live. And I commented that first half of play in the team loaded game was the single best half of basketball I have seen of a Crown team since I've been either coaching with them or playing against them, which has been now over 5 years. And that's a lot to say, I mean, Crown's had a lot of games. And Chris, kind of after the game, kind of echoed that sentiment. But it just seemed as though you guys were just taking everything away from Team 77. It seemed as though you were forcing them into bad shots. It seemed as though you were getting nothing but good shots. So it seemed as though you guys had an amazing half. But looks can be deceiving. So I wanted to wait on the actual statistics before we pass judgment. And all I will have to say in my terms is let's effing go. First of all, for the game, okay, this is against a good team, right? 64% effective field goal percentage, okay? 15% turnover rate, 55% offensive rebound percentage, okay? Now, I want to break that down into the first half. I want you to look at this here. First half, effective field goal percentage, 79%. All right. I am going to say that that is the single best effective field goal percentage of a half of any team I have coached or coached against ever. That's going to be my very educated opinion. And then, now remember, this is against a good team. Now, here's the real rub. Look at Crown opponents. Crown opponents in the, let's look at these by half. First of all, overall, they were 47%, but the game was over at halftime. They had an effective field goal percentage of 34% and a turnover rate of 27%. So just kind of, listen, let's keep this in mind, right? So for the first half, Crown, 79% effective field goal percentage, 20% turnover rate versus 34% effective field goal percentage and 27%. I am going to make this argument and that is the single biggest spread of effective field goal percentage of any game I've ever seen. And I've coached teams, I've played teams where we've won by 40. I tracked them. I've played teams where we've lost by 40. I've tracked those. And even when you factor in the games where you have teams that are 40 points better, I have still not seen a spread like this ever. And for you to do this against a top team, it justifies the comment. This is the single best half of basketball you guys have ever played. Now, it's important to understand that it's not just the offense that made this work. My visual of this game was that your team committed to defense in a way that, quite honestly, is not usual for Crown. I mean, this year more than normal. I'll talk about this maybe at practice, but Crown has always been that team that has been identified by a team that was really shoot, really good offensively, and defensively they kind of they gave up some points. Okay, but if you guys, I saw the commitment. Now listen, obviously Chike and Josh just owned the rim. Like nobody could get to the rim, but it wasn't just about them. Okay, the guards just gave them nothing. You guys gave this other team nothing from the outside. Leo, Jaden, Rod, whoever was on the court, Brandon, if I leave somebody out, I'm just forgetting. You guys, because as I mentioned before, if we're looking to get wide open threes and layups, what you should be taking away? Wide open threes and layups. So we knew that if we sent these guys away from the three-point arc, they're not going to get to the rim on Chike and Josh. So you're going to force them into some either crappy shots or turnovers, and that's what all of you guards did. And it was an amazing, amazing thing to watch. And listen, as much as I guys give you crap along the way for this, you get my full and utter respect. Now, I will also show you, look at the amount of bad twos from this game. Let's go. One bad two from out here for the whole game. Okay? As opposed to 1, 4, 5. You know what I mean? Like, so this was just awesome. Let's take a look at the box score from this game, and then we'll look at some season stuff. Roddy 3 for 6, 50%, perfect. Leo made a couple. Welcome to the team, Jaden. Favre, just I wouldn't take him. Chike getting to that rim, 9 rebounds, some steals, some blocks. Josh before he got hurt, he had some turnovers, but he was defending the rim. He was doing well. Overall, just applause. Amazing performance. All right, let's take a look at the statistics for the season, and let's see where we're at. So for other games, all season, select games. For this season, you guys have an effective field goal percentage of 51%. Very, very reasonable, like a little bit higher. But if you're going to continue to commit to defense the way that you've been, this actually might get it done, honestly. And when I say get it done again, I want all wins. I do. I want all wins. That's my goal. Can I tell you? Let's look at the shot chart. Well, first of all, 15% turnover rate, good. 28% offensive rebound percentage. Maybe we could use a little bit better. Josh is going to be out for at least the next week. Chike, Favre, you're going to have to really step up here. Let's take a look at the why not? Look at the shot chart for the season. Shot chart for the season. And we'll take a look and we'll see. So you have 17, 30, 42, 50. This is excellent. Look at the amount of bad twos compared to the 722 field goals. Even if you count these floaters as bad twos, you have 9, 21, 34, 44, 51, 70, 92. If you would count these, that's not that bad. You know what I mean? So you're on track. If you clean this up, you're going to be literally unbeatable. Let's look at stats for the season individually. So what you guys can look for as individuals, I mentioned last week, your goal should be to be either 50% from 2, or I would say maybe a little more, 52% from 2 and maybe 35% from 3. That should be the goal. If you could do both, that's excellent. But at least one of them. So for this season, let's take a look. Actually, let's look at for the season. Stats, all athletes, totals. Okay. So let's just sort these first by twos. By 2, who's getting over 50%? Josh, obviously, great. Chike, obviously. Roddy, 57% from 2 to go along with your 3-point percentage we're going to get to in a second. Jaden, very good, getting to the rim. Okay. And everybody else, well, Josh and Leo, 50%. Brandon, close. Okay. Favre, you have to improve a little bit. From 3, who's getting over 55%, 35%? Roddy, 46.6%. Just insane. Okay. To go along with your 43% from last season. I mean, this is an incredible set of sample size as well. Not to stroke anybody's ego, but I am guessing that Roddy is the best 3-point shooter in all of it. Okay, what can I tell you? I haven't seen anybody with a better number than this. Now we need other people to start making. And Tony, you weren't there at this game, but Josh needs to improve a little bit. Brandon needs to improve a little bit. Leo definitely needs to improve. Favre, I mean, I almost want to say don't take him. And Jaden, I don't know what's going on, man, but you got to get this thing going. So overall, I am pumped. I'll see you guys for Spooky Nuke. It's gonna be tough because Josh isn't gonna be there, but no excuses. I'm expecting clean sweeps of these tournaments from you guys. I just am. You guys have the talent, and you're putting the defense together. What's going to stop you from getting these championships and these wins is if you don't clean up the bad twos. And honestly, if the guards don't improve a little bit, they're scoring. Leo, Jaden, Brandon, you have the ball too much to not be a little more productive getting at the rim. So those things need to improve, and Josh as well. Those things need to improve. But I think that you guys are set up for a tremendous season. That'll do it. I'll see you guys in Spooky Noon.